Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our latest edition of Hurricanes, or as I like to call it, Hurricanes Remote Learning Day 4. So, we are going to start putting some closure to our hurricane unit. So, if you have not already answered today's do now, which is, what have you found the most interesting about this unit? What did you find the least interesting, and why? I really appreciate any feedback. I know this hasn't been easy doing the remote learning. So any feedback or suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Excuse me, can't talk today. So take a minute, pause this video, and go answer the do now. All right, welcome back. So let's take a look at our objective. By the end of class, you will be able to identify the effects of hurricane once it makes landfall. And by the end of class, you will construct an emergency pamphlet on hurricane preparedness for a country in the Caribbean. So, when we last left off, what are some of the effects of a hurricane once it makes landfall? So, if you look at this image, it gives you some good ideas of exactly what's going on. So, here you have two individuals walking in the storm. Well, what are they dealing with? Look at the palm trees. Look at the streets. What do you notice? So, take a minute and reflect on that. What do you notice about this picture? So if you were to look at the picture, it didn't necessarily show a tidal surge, but it did start to indicate some flooding. There was a lot of water in the street, which was also from the wind and rain. So those are all the things that could affect you once a hurricane makes landfall. Our focus today is really cleaning up after the storm. So when you looked at sections 7 and 8 from the text, it talked about all the different things that people go through. And when you look in terms of hurricane preparedness, hurricane cleaning up, people spend millions of dollars each year cleaning up from a storm. And just to give you some example of how the cleanup has to go, when Hurricane Sandy struck our area, these are images of the effects of Hurricane Sandy all the way up the eastern seaboard and even how it affected Norwalk. But this one particular picture, this actually shows how cyclones affect India. So this one was a typhoon that hit India. But this was from Hurricane Sandy or Superstorm Sandy. This was actually in New Jersey. As you can see, the boardwalk was completely destroyed, and so was this roller coaster. I believe it's still in the water. I don't think they dismantled it yet. The storm caused such devastation that it actually burned down entire neighborhoods, specifically in Queens, New York. They couldn't get out there because the tidal surge was too high, and the houses burned right to the water line. Again, here's a picture of the tidal surge coming in. This is in New York. This is right here in Fairfield. Some of the damage. Oh, sorry, I take that back. Norwalk. Overton's at Calf Pasture Beach. This is still remnants right after the storm. And this was the pier and the walkway going to the pier. This is actually what the damage looked like. So when I actually had some pictures myself, I couldn't find my own pictures, but this is the damage that was caused right after, Sandy struck. So what you are going to do now is you are going to take a picture quiz. Now, you're probably thinking, a quiz? He didn't tell us. I didn't study. Well, if you've been paying attention to the vocabulary, it should be relatively easy. You have 10 pictures that you must answer correctly. Well, you're like, well, what pictures? What is he talking about? Well, I've given you a picture, and in the Google form, it's a multiple choice quiz, you have to tell me what the correct word is. Here's picture number 1. What is happening? Picture number 2. What is happening? Picture number 3. Again, what is happening? Picture number 4. What is this swirling motion called? Picture 5. What does this dark blue line represent? Picture 6. What does this light blue area represent? What are the names of these clouds? What happens once a hurricane makes landfall? What is this picture forming? And what is this guy's job? Now that you've already taken your quiz, I'll give you a minute to pause this video here to go take your quiz. Welcome back. So to put closure to our hurricane unit, you are going to be creating an emergency preparedness pamphlet from the country you chose to research on day 3. So when you go back to your day 3 question, which is, how does a specific country prepare for a hurricane? Well, you researched how that country prepares for a hurricane. What do they do? How do they do it? How do they recover from it? These are all things you've already looked at for your particular country. So what I've done is created a template for you, which will be in the Google Classroom tab. It's loading. So here it is. Emergency Preparedness Response Pamphlet. Now that you've selected your country from Caribbean, you are creating a pamphlet for the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management. Your pamphlet must include the following items: a front cover with a catchy title and colorful visual, a section on what causes hurricanes and how they gain strength, include a title and illustration, a section on how people can prepare for hurricanes, include a title, at least 5 tips or important pieces of information, and a helpful illustration, a back cover with interesting facts about hurricanes in the Caribbean. You may also wish to include details about past storms, such as the amount of destruction a hurricane caused for your particular country. Creative touches to make the pamphlet stand out. Again, you want to make this visually appealing so citizens of that country would actually look at it. What are some places in your country that are considered shelters from hurricanes? Include images. Remember, you have to be able to reach all the citizens of the country. And make sure you use proper grammar and spelling. If you would like, you can hand draw this and send me pictures. Or I have created a template down here. It has 3 boxes. And you can type and do whatever you need to do within the 3 boxes. So for the remainder of class, you will continue to work on your pamphlet. And we will continue to work on this next class. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Again, take your time. If you're stuck on something, let me know, and I'd be happy to help. Good luck.